Hi guys, this is John Adams, I'm the Rehab Man Documentation Guru. Recording while I'm driving. Yes, I'm stupid like that, but I am keeping my eyes on the road and not looking at the camera. Except for quickly now. Okay, I'm still there. Okay. Anyway, today I wanted to just bring up a case study, and please feel free to comment. I'd welcome comments, especially by clinicians that have a lot of neuro experience. So I got a referral today to go see a patient, never seen before, for physical therapy consult. And when I called the other day, the patient's loved one who's caring for them said that she really needed help with her mom just being able to bend her, as she put it, and sit her up in bed and be able to put her in a wheelchair. So that was her take on the situation. This patient had been in home health care for a long time and had previous therapy done. But it's been a long time. And basically what's happened is this patient's gotten so stiff that they into a chair safely and effectively. So I went in knowing that she had a history of severe osteoporosis, actually shattering her pelvis and her femur on one occasion, and having multiple surgeries done, in addition to total joint replacements. And so this is what I'm dealing with. She's also had TIAs diagnosed, but never a stroke. So anyway, I went in and looked at her, and she's now bedbound. And here's what I found. Right hip flexion was 85 degrees, and that was pushing it. It also had what felt as close to, as I could tell, a hard end feel. Her knee flexion was, her hip flexion was less than that. It was like 75 degrees. Her knee flexion was 85 on the right, hard end feel. Her ankle dorsiflexion was minus 50 degrees, hard end feel. Her left side was much worse. It was about half on all those measurements, except hip flexion was about 60. So that's all she had available to her. And as you know, hard end feel means bony restriction, which was a little bit confusing to me based on her history, but I really felt like it was beyond firm. So here, let me turn off this GPS because I don't need it right now. So anyway, I was looking at that. Also, I was looking at her left hand, and she had her medial 3 fingers curled. And I asked the daughter about it, and she said, "Oh, they suspect she's got Dupuytren's contracture." But then I'm watching her posture when she's not paying attention to anything, and she's got the whole hand balled up and even getting a little bit of wrist flexion. So I'm like, and I asked her more about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that developed over the course of 2 weeks." And I thought, it doesn't sound like Dupuytren's to me. And her legs both are in the position usually of extension at the hips and knees and plantar flexion, inversion, especially of the left ankle, but not terrible, but it's getting inverted. Also internal rotation at the hips. And it's bilateral. And then I decided, because I noticed something odd when I went to touch one of her feet, she had extension of the big toe and flaring of the other toes. So I did that on both feet. She has a positive Babinski sign, both feet, left greater than right. So then I assessed her elbow flexion on her left, and she had a jerky motion to her elbow flexion, as well as decreased coordination on that left side. Finger to nose was impaired on that side. So anyway, I think you can see where I'm going with this. It was pretty clear that this lady had well beyond just orthopedic issues. So the goal of the patient and the daughter was to get the patient to be able to bend more and sit up in a chair so she could go to doctor's visits. But she has a problem. She has a standard chair, and she was sliding out of the chair. She also, they had gotten her a recline chair, but she would slide out of the chair. Well, that makes sense. She's got insufficient hip flexion. And the daughter wanted to know about being able to bend her more. And I told her, look, with her history of severe, she's never had a vertebral fracture now, and I don't want to cause one now. So I suspect that she's got as much hip flexion as she's ever going to get. And I also suspect there's something neurological going on. She's going in for a scan, MRI or something of her hand. I think they're barking up the wrong tree. I think they've got to go a lot more centrally than that. So anyway, there's no lesson in this. Just kind of a discussion of a clinical nature. And, you know, it just shows that sometimes you get referrals that really don't tell you squat and make it clear that a lot more needs to be looked at. And it was clear that a neurologist really needs to be the next stopping point for this patient. And the other thing was transporting her. It was very clear that this lady needs to be stretcher transported right now, given her posturing. And that's basically it. So based on what I told you, if you've got neurological background, feel free to comment as a discussion on this case, because very interesting things going on with this lady, and I'm just hoping she gets really thorough assessment in the future. John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru, signing out for today. Take care.